This week, the Department of Justice released another batch of Epstein documents, which critics pointed out deliberately omitted references to Donald Trump in a totally non-suspicious way. And honestly, it's not fair. You know, Donald Trump was my favorite character in the Epstein files. It's like when House of Cards suddenly stopped starring Kevin Spacey, probably because he had booked a recurring role in the Epstein files.
First Lady Melania Trump made a rare public statement to deny reports that Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump because they actually met when Trump cracked open her shipping container.
This week, Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked to redact herself from her job. President Trump reportedly fired Bondi over her handling of the Epstein files because the only person Trump has ever trusted to handle the Epstein situation is a prison guard with the cameras off.
The Justice Department announced that it would not be able to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files by yesterday's deadline. I guess they kept running out of black ink. Those files were so boring. The only interesting thing I saw was this picture of Bill Clinton hugged up on Melania.
And you have to think that everybody in the government is a secret pedophile except for this guy dancing with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, isn't that the happiest you've ever seen Trump? He's dancing like nobody's checking IDs. Also, I kind of understand. I mean, if I was Trump, I'd be mad too if someone took a Sharpie and drew all over my favorite memories.
Right now,
the repeated claims of barely knowing Epstein sharply conflicted with the overwhelming amount of visual evidence that appeared impossible to ignore, creating the kind of tension that almost begged to be turned into comedy. Colin Jost handled it like a puzzle with pieces that simply refused to connect, while Michael Che treated the situation as a perfect example of selective memory at work. The comedy did not rely on forcing punchlines. Instead, the contradictions naturally carried the humor on their own. Every statement from Trump added another layer to a story that already felt dangerously close to unbelievable. Then came a sudden shift that nobody expected, yet somehow fit perfectly within the chaos of the moment. The suggestion that multiple timelines could explain the inconsistencies transformed the discussion into something that felt far less like a press briefing and much more like the pitch for a science fiction movie. The press secretary stood there, absorbing every second of it, nodding carefully in the way people do when they genuinely cannot tell whether they're witnessing brilliance or a disaster unfolding in slow motion. There was constant discussion about tone, although the tone itself kept bouncing wildly between aggressive confidence and strangely timed sarcasm involving religion, as if subtlety had officially been removed from the room entirely. Colin Jost stepped directly into that strange energy, like someone who had spent the entire week waiting for the chance to break it all down, pointing out how the compliments aimed at the press secretary carried the kind of backhanded humor that only works when former versions of the same person are casually discussed like outdated smartphone models. The punchline didn't simply land, it completely settled into the room, made itself comfortable, and practically started living there.
Hillary Clinton testified this week and said she's confident that Bill Clinton had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, though there is an outside chance that Hillary sometimes doesn't know what her husband is up to. It was reported that Jeffrey Epstein hid photographs in secret storage lockers across the country, but I guess he had to take a lot of pictures because kids grow up so fast.
How then you'll like this. A statue has appeared on the National Mall that depicts President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in the famous pose from Titanic. Because as they said on the Titanic, women and children first.
OpenAI has updated its video-generating app Sora to allow users to create cameos of themselves in videos. And they're pretty realistic. I mean, I made this one before the show.
Officials in New Mexico are reopening investigations into the ranch that Jeffrey Epstein owned. And they should have known something was up when Epstein's ranch was all ponies.
Really bumming them out there, Joe.
The segment captured the moment with a level of sharpness and clarity that only comedy can truly deliver. Colin Jost and Michael Che were doing far more than simply telling jokes. They built a framework that helped audiences process a sequence of events that otherwise felt nearly impossible to fully understand. Their ability to navigate that chaos while keeping the tone intelligent, fast-paced, and engaging made sure viewers stayed invested from beginning to end. The humor stayed with people, not only because it was entertaining, but because it exposed something deeper about the bizarre reality behind the headlines. In that sense, the segment succeeded as more than comedy. It became a reflection of a world where the line between absurdity and reality keeps growing thinner, leaving just enough uncertainty for another shocking twist to emerge at any moment. Somewhere in the middle of all that madness, Colin Jost and Michael Che sliced through the spectacle like two people who realized the script had already gone completely insane, so they decided they might as well push it all the way into full absurdity. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It truly helps more than you realize. At times, the Oval Office looked less like the center of global leadership and more like a chaotic late-night customer support center where every conversation somehow spiraled completely out of control while still carrying the official presidential seal. The phones never stopped ringing, the confidence remained strangely unshaken, and logic seemed to disappear for an extended holiday.